Fasten your seatbelt. We're about to blast through a waterfall of AI news at full speed. This week in AI, Claude got possessed by a demon, a humanoid robot actually went on sale, the jobs panic stopped feeling theoretical, and NVIDIA is trying to own the road, not just the car. And by the end of this video, I want to show you why all of these stories are really about the same thing. AI is moving out of demo mode and into the real world. This is your weekly AI digest, the stuff you actually need to know from the past week in case you missed anything. I spent hours digging through the biggest stories and real product updates, so you don't have to. And today, I left a little surprise for you at the very end of the video. Enjoy!
LINA, your human guide to AI.
Starting with robots, because for years consumer robotics was mostly theater, but this week humanoids stopped feeling like sci-fi, especially with NVIDIA bringing all of From Frozen to life during their GTC this week, which I consider a cheat code to make us believe robots are safe. The most real home robot story is 1X Neo. 1X is actually taking orders at $499 a month or $20,000 for early access with US delivery starting this year. Figure looks promising too, but for now, Helix 02 still feels more like a strong demo. Tidying an already tidy room, so I'd rather wait for Figure 03, the one pitched for the biggest home helper vision, laundry, dishes, cleaning, a 20-kilo payload and around 5 hours of runtime. Then there's Tesla Optimus, still the most famous humanoid robot, but not the most concrete one. The fresh official Tesla item this week was an Austin pop-up where people could meet it, while Reuters says meaningful production still isn't expected until late 2026. But then there's China, where the twist is price. Unitree already lists the R1 from $4,900 and G1 at $13,500, but right now those still look more like the enthusiastic or developer robots than polished home helpers. And since we're talking about robots in very literal terms today, there's also the other side of the story. While these companies compete to build the best home helper robot, Foundation says it sent 2 Phantom Mk1 humanoids to Ukraine for testing in battlefields. So robots are starting to enter human spaces with actual jobs attached to them. And once that starts happening in the physical world, the next question is obvious. What happens when AI starts doing the same thing on your computer? The real office story this week is that AI companies want their tools to become operators, not just help you write emails. Microsoft launched Copilot Coworker, which it describes as turning intent into action across Microsoft 365, while Google is spreading Gemini deeper into Docs, Sheets, Slides, Drive, and now even Maps with Ask Maps and immersive navigation, which is one of its biggest AI upgrades in years. Looks like Microsoft wants AI to feel like a coworker, while Google wants to feel like a smart layer across everything you already use. The deeper shift is Manos versus Perplexity. Last week, we talked about Perplexity's personal computer, which is basically a second always-on AI machine built around continuously running Mac Mini. This week, Manos launched My Computer, which takes the opposite approach. Instead of giving you a separate AI machine, it moves the agent onto the computer you already have, so it can work directly with your files, apps, and desktop mess. That difference sounds small, but it's actually strategic. Perplexity is betting on remote delegation in a managed environment. Manus is betting on intimacy, and this space moved again this week because Anthropic quietly dropped dispatch inside Claude coworker. It basically turns your phone into a remote control for a persistent Claude session running on your desktop. Which means Anthropic keeps chasing that same always-on assistant idea too, just with more guardrails and a lot more emphasis on local desktop work. And if you think, this all sounds like the OpenClaw idea, always-on assistants you can reach like a real digital presence, you're right, even NVIDIA is moving that way with NemoClaw. But before we get to NVIDIA though, we need to talk about Claude because this week Anthropic made AI feel both more powerful and more unsettling at the same time. Anthropic headline is simple. Claude Opus 4.6 and Sonnet 4.6 now get the full 1 million token context window at standard pricing. This is a big jump from the previous 200k tokens window, which was already enough for roughly 500 pages of text and more than 100 images in one session. But it's not unique anymore. OpenAI's GPT 5.4 docs also list a 1 million context window. And Google's Gemini 3.1 Pro docs do too. So Anthropic didn't invent this tier this week. It joined it. But what's interesting, Anthropic also rolled out a temporary usage boost from 13th to 28th of March, doubling usage in off-peak hours for free Pro, Max and Team users, but not Enterprise though. The bonus window is roughly from 12 to 6 p.m. GMT on weekdays. So yes, even free users got a bigger slice for a limited time. Let me know in the comments if you took this opportunity. Then comes the weird part. Claude hits a failure mode called answer thrashing on a simple triangle area problem. It keeps bouncing between answers, seeming to know something is wrong while still failing, and at one point it literally writes that it thinks a demon has possessed it. In related evaluations, it also reportedly put the odds of its own consciousness around 15 to 20%. That's not proof that it's conscious. It's proof that model behavior is now strange enough that Anthropic is openly studying moral status, updating Claude's constitution around being a good, wise and virtuous agent, and relying on resident philosopher Amanda Askell to help shape that behavior. At this rate, they may need an AI psychologist next. And right next to that, another company is hiring people to do the opposite. Mamvid advertised an $800 one-day role for what people jokingly call a professional AI bully. Basically, someone paid to push chatbots until they fail and document where they break. Which is funny because a lot of people already do that every day for free. So one company is hiring philosophers to make AI kinder, and another is paying people to antagonize AI on purpose. And now we've got more capable models, stranger behavior, and AI moving closer to real work. Which brings us to the part that makes people nervous. One of the most viral AI posts lately came from Andrei Karpathy's US job market visualizer. First, the map is live, so if you saw some post claiming it was deleted and you need to DM someone for the link, that's just engagement farming. Karpathy's own site says the map covers 342 occupations and about 143 million jobs. And the core idea is simple. The more your job lives on a screen and runs on repeatable digital workflows, the more exposed it may be to AI. But Karpathy's other project, Auto Research, is actually more important. The idea is to let an AI agent edit training code, run a tiny 5-minute experiment, check whether it improved the model, keep what worked, throw away what failed, and repeat that overnight. which is a glimpse of AI not just helping with research, but helping improve future AI systems themselves. Exactly the kind of feedback loop people mean when they talk about agentic AI. And then the labor story stops being abstract. Reuters reports Meta is planning layoffs that could affect 20% or more of staff, potentially 15,000 plus people, though the final scale is not set. Amazon had already confirmed 16,000 corporate cuts in January, taking the total since October to around 30,000, and also cut at least 100 white-collar jobs in robotics this month. Reuters also reports Oracle is planning thousands of cuts as data center spending rises, and Atlassian is cutting about 1,600 jobs, or roughly 10% of staff, as it pivots harder towards AI and enterprise sales. So money is moving, not from tech to non-tech, but from payroll and white-collar headcount into compute, infrastructure, chips, and data centers. And that's exactly why the NVIDIA chapter matters. NVIDIA is trying to own not just the chips, but the whole pipeline of how AI gets built, run, and turned into products. Reuters says NVIDIA now sees at least a $1 trillion revenue opportunity for its AI hardware through 2027. And my 3 takeaways are simple. First, inference is now the center of gravity, not just training models, but running them cheaply and fast for millions of users. Second, hardware is getting more specialized, which is why AWS and Cerebras are splitting model-serving work across different systems. Third, NVIDIA wants the software layer too, which is where NemoClaw comes in, a one common stack that adds privacy and security to always-on OpenClaw style assistants. And the money flow backs that up. Reuters says NVIDIA put $2 billion into Nebius thinking machines, secured major future access to NVIDIA's Vera Rubin systems, and Meta is developing 4 new generations of MTIA chips, even while its frontier model Avocado is delayed to at least May 2026. So everyone is spending, but spending doesn't automatically buy frontier leadership. Once AI becomes real infrastructure, society starts asking 3 basic questions. You can see that first in data centers. Reuters found candidates in at least 10 French towns campaigning against new projects, while Germany says it wants to double domestic data center capacity and massively expand AI processing by 2030. So one side wants to build faster, and the other wants limits, transparency, and local control. And finally, there's the fight over rules. The UK is moving towards a licensing-first approach, and the EU AI Act is phasing in real legal obligations over time. So the message from governments is becoming clearer. AI is no longer small enough to grow without a rulebook. Well, the more real AI becomes, the more the resistance becomes real too. If you want to stay informed about what's going on in AI, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
Robot in the kitchen, robot in the war. Claude says demon and we all ask for more. Google wants layers, Microsoft wants staff. Maintenance wanted desktop, perplexity a second Mac. Jobs look fragile, chips look gold, and every big company wants control. AI is not a toy anymore. It's at the desk, the house, the door. NZ. Just selling tools, everybody racing, breaking all the rules. If you missed the week, now you know the gist. Welcome to the future in AI, LINA digest. Jobs look fragile, chips look gold, and every big company wants control. AI is not a toy anymore. It's at the desk, the house, the door.